Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Looking to bet smarter? Get sports betting insight and winning picks straight from the South Point Hotel and Casino.
The favorite should be 220-ish, and here, you can lay $1.65.
So getting a plus 315 price here for this one to go to overtime. I like it.
Their strength is their defense. I like the under.
Join Sports by the Book Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific and bet your winning edge.
Welcome in, everybody, and happy Tuesday. Time for another Sports by the Book. We are live from the South Point Hotel and Casino 5 days a week, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Just a quick reminder, tomorrow race day is back. That is at 7 a.m. And then Thursday, gone racing because we are in it for NASCAR. So a couple of shows that you want to look out for the rest of the week, including our own here. And we've got a lot for you on today's show. A lot of college basketball. We're going to talk through some games that we like. And we're also going to talk some futures, see if there's any value out there looking at South Point's future numbers. We'll also talk a little bit of baseball with some breaking news. We'll talk some college realignment and hockey, of course, because it is the Olympics right now. And one game going on right now, 2 have already happened, and 1 coming up here for the elimination round here, trying to get to the quarterfinals. I'm Alex White alongside Ryan McCormick, as we always are 5 days a week. And on Tuesdays, our very own Matt Neverett joins us here, voice of the Rebels and the Las Vegas Aviators. Matt, what's going on? How has the week been since we've seen you?
Busy. Your Rebels with a comeback win on the road at Boise State. I did 3 baseball games in the span of 24 hours for the Hustle and Rebels. UNLV opened the season splitting a 4-game series. And how about this? So the 3 games I had to miss the opening night. It was against Austin Peay, who came in from the A-Sun, one of the best teams in that conference. Doubleheader Saturday after playing a late Friday night game in Boise. Doubleheader Saturday. The games took 3.5 hours and 3 hours. The Sunday series finale, a whopping 4-hour and 2-minute 10-inning game. I've never missed minor league baseball more. There is a pitch clock in college baseball, but it is not nearly as effective because they don't throw as many strikes. So I've been calling a lot of games. A rare Tuesday off with UNLV hosting Colorado State tomorrow night on a Wednesday. Almost a mini bye with the Friday game into the Wednesday. So a lot happened from the last time I saw you, and then the last 2 days, not much has happened. Enjoyed President's Day the way that Abe Lincoln and George Washington would want me to, by laying in bed and watching movies all day.
Very good. And maybe enjoying a beverage named after one of the presidents.
Yeah. Yeah, Budweiser was a president, right?
Yeah, sure. It is the year of the horse, so we could make that all wrap together
We
there.
can tie that back in. We got to. Hey, you had Eddie O on the show yesterday. He loves the ponies. I love watching Eddie O because you never know where the conversation is going to go, and somehow it always finds its way back to the horses with him.
Well, we asked before we brought him on too if we could, and he's like, "Yep, it's my day off. I was already handicapping, so I will
From
have
overseas.
one."
I love it. That's like John Anik. I've been with him on with him on a handful of shows. Talking UFC, but same thing. He loves the horses.
Yeah.
He loves football, so he gives out plays. It's one of those guys where you, when you start the conversation, you never know how it's going to end. Not that I would know anything about that, right? I see Ann walking around in the background. She's shaking her head.
Speaking of Eddie O and joining our show, and good morning to Ryan as well from the back there joining us. Now, Ryan, you had some something that Eddie O said that actually came to fruition today in the Olympics.
Well, you guys were talking about his pony pick. His pony pick did finish third in that race, getting a 460 there. If you did follow Expect the Best there in the 10th race at Oaklawn. But mentioned you're talking about the Olympics, what Eddie O did mention on our show yesterday, and that they were in conversations of doing, and a couple hours after our show did end up doing, is changing the boards of the Olympic hockey rink. So they were really dark, not necessarily sponsor look, but how we're used to it here in the States, and for the NHL, it's sponsors all over it on top of white. But over in the Olympics, it was kind of a dark navy mixed in with the colors and the Milan logo and everything. But they lightened that up, and for today's games, we've gotten a kind of a lighter blue mixed with the yellow and the green and the Milan logo there. So they did lighten up the boards, as Eddie O said they were going to do, or talking about doing yesterday when he was a guest on our show.
And believe me, I don't know any better, but it just seems like the hockey specifically in this Olympics has been an abject disaster as far as the facilities. I remember hearing about leading into the Olympics, how small the arena and the actual playing surface was and how bad the ice was. Now we got the boards. There's got to be a way to standardize that, right? I mean, the IOC, not like they're lacking for money or anything. It sounds like they are willing to maybe potentially make some in-tournament changes, which you don't always you don't always want to have to do. But you'd rather have it be safe. Who thought that a dark backdrop would be applicable for a black puck?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, and there was a couple incidents in one of them with Team USA and Jeremy Swayman, so that kind of initiated this whole thing. So glad they got that fixed. Hopefully it does help out for the goalie's sake. But the rink size, we did ask him about that too. Hasn't been much of anything.
There is always a difference in the Olympic ice versus the NHL ice, but these guys got to just get used to it. They're not, and also they're not all NHLers. This isn't the NHL tournament. This is the Olympic tournament. So there are differences, and that's not the only sport where that's the case. There are other sports where there are slight differences in the playing surface in the arenas, or at least the host site, than there would be in other areas.
Well, and that's funny you say that, and we'll talk about the final game coming up here. But Sweden, I don't know, Ryan, we didn't talk about it yesterday either. We should have asked Eddie O, but a lot of chatter about them not playing the NHL guys very much as we would expect, right? Since that is technically the best league in the world. So we'll see what happens today. But let's where we start. Oh, Ryan also was going to do a trend recap and anything else from yesterday. Ryan, we went through some games. We talked about a lot of home revenge. A lot of winners were talked about, but none made my whiteboard. So, including Houston plus 2.5, which was very close to getting there, but it was a tough. Did you watch that game?
No, and you mentioned before the show that you lost it in a heartbreaking way. What happened at the end there?
Well, it was just a very tight game, and then Iowa State went up 2. With probably 10 seconds to go. Houston actually had the ball. Tripped, turnover.
Oh no!
And then they ended up fouling him. So
I
they lost by 3.
I did see a thing from Kelvin Sampson post game.
You want to pick a
Kelvin Sampson saying that they lead the country in ugly wins. I think just the wins. That's all that really matters. I think he'll tell you that. I'm gonna guess that's not the last time that those two face off against each other. Maybe not even in the Big 12 tournament. Or we may see that as an NCAA tournament matchup, like in the Elite 8.
Wouldn't you say that was a big win, though, for TJ Altenberger and Iowa State? I mean, really, I don't know. I kind of still had Houston above them, but they played really well, and both of these two teams, I mean, they look like it's the best version of themselves, still have that suffocating defense, but guys that can actually shoot the three.
Yeah, and they're both in the same category when you get to tournament time of defense travels, especially in a neutral site environment where no one's going to have the home court advantage. So those are going to be two teams that are going to take a lot of steam. I know Chris and the boys are going to be taking a lot of bets on those two upstairs. I mean, that is tough. And that conference in general, I mean, those top 5, 6 teams, basically up until West Virginia, all have a chance to really be, upset teams. Maybe not upset teams, but dominant teams that are 4 seeds or less in the tournament.
Well, it's crazy. Look at Texas Tech down there, who we saw make a run last year, and they're not even the top of their division. And we have a great matchup coming up this weekend with Houston and Arizona, and that could be Arizona, because Arizona's on the road, could be their third loss. It won't be straight loss. They have one more game in between, but still.
Could be 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4.
Which for that team is about a million losses.
Yeah, exactly. And all in the last little week here.
Hey,
Ryan's counting now.
Enjoy it while they have it, because Koa Pete's going to be top 2, top 3 pick. I saw him in person, and he is he is an incredible athlete for a freshman. He's going to make some NBA team very happy next year on the boards.
It's a really good freshman class.
It is. This year's draft is going to be awesome. Maybe not like 03 draft with Carmelo, LeBron, Darko Milicic, of course. But this year's draft is going to be awesome. I can't wait. There's a lot of debate, too. There's a lot of debate even after like the top 2 or 3 picks, because there's a ton of talent all coming out this year.
Well, let's dive into the trends from yesterday, brought to us by South Point Sportsbook. And then, Ryan, we've got posts to talk about, a poll for today, all of that. Let's do all that, and then let's take a look at what the future odds are for men's basketball.
All right. Well, we had 24 games in men's college basketball yesterday, and favorites were 17-7 straight up, 12-11-1 against the spread, and 14-8-2 were the totals. 14 overs, 8 unders, and 2 pushes there on the total in the 24 games in college basketball. We have 30 games today. So we will go over a good amount of those and hopefully give you guys some winning plays. But talking about the posts from yesterday, or post yesterday, and one post we got for you today. So it was, wow, weekend Olympic watch. Which winter sport did you curl up with this weekend? Let us know. So we got speed skating, ski jumping, curling, and snowboarding. And our viewers that voted in that poll had a tie of speed skating and curling there for what they watched over the weekend for the Olympic coverage. And then today's is talking about Double H, Double S, which hockey player for Team USA men's squad will lead the team in points as a defenseman. So we gave you Double H because we gave you Hannafin and Hughes, Noah Hannafin and Quinn Hughes, and Double S for Jacob Slavin and Jake Sanderson. So we got that's available over in our posts. You can go share your thoughts on who will be the leading point scorer for USA as a defenseman, being that all 4 of those players are defensemen for Team USA. So that's today's post. We've also got a poll that'll be going today. So, but we can get into the men's college basketball future talk.
Well, I love the Olympic conversation as well. Big fan of the Olympics, and there's certain sports that I definitely enjoy watching more than others. I've always had an affinity for the figure skating and the ice dancing. My grandma used to always watch it, even when the Olympics weren't going on. So I remember walking into her house in Nashua, New Hampshire, often as a kid, and you see the figure skating. You sit down and you watch it with Grammy. So I've always had a big appreciation and an affinity for the figure skating. Speed skating's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and it's not a big sport in the U.S., but internationally it is great. I've never understood the appeal of ski jumping as far as watching it for an elongated span of time, like sitting there for an hour and watching guy after guy or girl after girl jump off of that. Well, you watch it once and it's fun, but then you see the same thing 8 times. How exciting can it be when they're landing within like 6 inches of each other and the margin of error is so minuscule? At least with downhill ski slalom, they're within a second of each other, but there's the possibility of some craziness on the way down.
Well, how about curling? Because I think that one kind of won by default because their time frame, I feel like, is the time when everybody goes, oh, the Olympics are on. Let me tune in again, and then it's always curling on.
Has
right?
anybody ever watched a curling event or even a curling throw outside of the Olympics in this? I know I haven't, and you'd be hard pressed to find a lot of sports that I have not watched a lot of. I think curling's fun to watch for the Olympics. It's palatable for the average American. We have the attention span of a fish collectively. So, I mean, the matches are quick. We've all played bocce ball drunk at a 4th of July party, so we know kind of generally the concept. So, I don't know. Curling is fun. I do enjoy watching curling.
I think Anne said she has watched it besides the
Of
Olympics.
course she has. And loves ice sports. Try to sneak a hockey puck past her. She's the best goalie I know.
Wow. See, we learned something new
Exactly.
every day here. All right, well, let's dive into some of these future bets here for men's basketball. We do have March Madness coming up very soon. I believe we only have like 3 or 4 more Saturdays of these jam-packed days.
Hey, this time next month, we'll be previewing first-round matchups.
Wow. Yeah, that kind of snuck up on us this year. But here we go, Matt. Go ahead and take a look at our 3 columns that we have here with Arizona, Michigan, Houston, and I can't see who that. Oh, Duke, of course, Duke.
Wow, for Ryan to say that one, that's something.
Top 4
It was
there.
DOOK. There.
Yeah, you spelled it right.
Anything jump at you? Or maybe let's just start with all 3 of us. Anything shorter than 10-1, who would be your pick there?
I mean, there's probably only a couple that I would put this on, and it would be Michigan, Duke, and Houston. I mean, those are the only 3. I think when you get to these top-tier teams, the elite of the elite, the cream of the crop, the margin of error is so thin, and I think that defense, as everyone knows, and it's been said for so long, defense travels. Defense is going to win you games come tournament time. I think a well-coached team like a Houston and Duke as well, both of them well-coached, are going to have an advantage over a lot of teams. And then Michigan, with their defensive acumen, the number 1 rated defense by Ken Pom this year, and really taking the college basketball by storm from the beginning of the year on. I remember we saw them at the Players Era tournament, and it was like, oh my God, this is the best team in the country by far.
I think they're just a sleeping giant. They really do remind me of UConn, and I think they could just go on a nice little 6-game streak there and win it all.
Now,
but
the only kryptonite for them, and I saw this on some bracket projections today. Michigan right now is a 1 seed in just about everybody's projection, as they should be. They right now, I saw a projection that has them in a first-round matchup against Sun Belt champion and upstart Appalachian State as a 1-16 matchup, my alma mater. How awesome would that be? Now, the Wolverines would win that one by about 40, but that'd be a fun little storyline for about a couple of days, right?
yeah, it definitely would. And we'll have you on to preview that one for sure.
Yeah.
I will say, and Ryan, we talked about it. Well, I brought it up with Spencer, and he said it's too hard to repeat. But I really think Florida's kind of being undervalued here now at 9-1. And it's taken them a little bit of time this year, but lately, I think they're playing their best basketball. And that's another thing, right? We want to find the team that's kind of peaking at the right time.
Yeah. And you want to find the ones that have done it against a challenging schedule as well. I mean, I'm just looking up and down Ken Pom right now. Florida, the 4th best defensive rating by Ken Pom, and they've done so by playing against the 32nd ranked strength of schedule. And I think that's telling. I mean, you look at, just for example, Houston, 157th, Iowa State, 270th in terms of strength of schedule out of 365 teams. So they have won and they've dominated, but as of right now, they have not played anybody on paper outside of conference play. So that's something to look at as well. You see some of these teams that run through a weak non-conference schedule, and maybe like I don't know Gonzaga's schedule off the top of my head, but I look at them at the bottom at 18-1 there. Maybe they don't play as strong of a non-con schedule, and then they play in a weaker conference this year in the WCC. They play in a tournament and get shell-shocked in the Sweet 16 against a Houston team or something like that. Those are definitely angles that you've got to keep in mind and take a look at ahead of time when you're betting the NCAA tournament especially.
You made me look at Iowa State and the remainder of their schedule, and they still have BYU, Texas Tech. They do get to host Texas Tech
so
on
maybe
the
that's
road.
Part of it, yeah.
Yeah, and then Arizona coming up. So they could still lose 2 more games here before even going into their conference tournament.
So good Nebraska. I'm looking at them, 11th in Ken Pom overall, the 8th best defense in the country. 318 in terms of strength of schedule. That is by far the lowest of any team in the top 24 because Iowa's 343 and they're 25.
I'm glad that you're bringing that up. I rarely look at that on the side there with Ken Pom. Ryan, what about you? A team shorter than 10-1 out of all of those 6 up there?
Yeah, it would be a look at Michigan and Houston. I get Houston just lost, but Matt made the point that defense travels, and both those teams are very capable and are very large inside the paint. So just to kind of maybe go against your Florida, though, or a reason why they're maybe not looked at so highly as they were last year. The SEC got 14 teams in the tournament last year. They're not looked at. The conference as a whole isn't looked at the same as they were last year. The Big Ten is being more respected. There's the most respected conference in basketball right now. So I think that's kind of why we're seeing, or why Florida isn't necessarily getting that love, and a school like Michigan and Wisconsin are getting the love, and especially Wisconsin dropping from 300 to 1 when we talked about it last week, steadily from 125 to 100 and now to 80.
Wow.
So hopefully you were able to jump on that bandwagon when it was triple-digit price there with the Badgers. But it would be a look to Michigan and Houston there of the teams short of 10 to 1.
Well, how about this? You mentioned the SEC maybe having a down year compared to last. I guess last year was just an up year compared to every other year with 14 bids. But I mean, just on these odds. How insane is it? And last year, if you would have told me that Vanderbilt would have the second best odds of any SEC team to win the national championship, I would have told you were crazy.
Right.
You want to talk about a school having a resurgence in both football and basketball at the same time. Good time to be a Commodore. But 30 to 1. I'm not touching it with them. There's plenty of other teams I'd rather go with around that range.
Well, and I know this gets overplayed and you hear it all the time, but there is a lot of parity in the SEC. So I think that has to do with it too, because as you mentioned, I mean, Vandy, Texas A&M, these are teams that weren't very good at basketball, and now we're seeing them have a resurgence. So, yeah, just overall, just a lot of really good teams, but no top teams. And I do think the Big Ten is the best right now.
It's one of the downsides for the SEC in terms of every school being a big money program.
Right.
They can all compete for the same recruits, and we're starting to see the playing field get a little bit more level there, and I think that's going to continue. The Big Ten just happens to have some of these absolute best teams in the country year after year after year. Big Ten and Big 12, the two premier in basketball. The SEC can't have everything. It just means more, but they can't always have more.
That's right. Well, let's go ahead and look at a little bit bigger odds. Some are right in the middle there. Maybe, if you like Iowa State or Kansas, go ahead or you did bring up Gonzaga, but how about 20 to 1 and on, maybe to that 60 to 1 with Arkansas. 60 to 1 still seems like a pretty good number. I got to stop bringing up SEC teams, though, as we're saying that we don't think they're going to go very far.
Yeah, I just said that they're not going to get 14 bids again.
Well, and to your point, and I think what Ryan was kind of alluding to is the odds for one of them to make it pretty far was pretty good, having 14 get in there, right?
Yeah, legit. Well, they did have some really, really good teams last year, and go figure, an SEC team did win the national championship. So, all things considered, I will be excited. I know these props usually come out right around when the bracket is posted here at South Point. The conference versus conference props to win the national championship. It was at SEC versus the field last year. I love looking at those. So there's going to be some fun ones this year with a lot more parity and a lot of balance between the Big Ten and the Big 12 in terms of the best teams. But as far as your original question, I do have to go back to an SEC team. What's the number on Alabama? 65 to 1. And I don't know if they're necessarily a team that could win a national title this year. They're not consistent enough. But they absolutely are capable of making a deep run, and that's a perfect hedge opportunity if you can get them to the Final Four. I mean, right now, just again, taking a look at KenPom, they're 18th in KenPom, but that's because they are 57th in defensive rating, the third most efficient offense in the country. They run the number 1 tempo in the country, and since we're talking strength of schedule, they've played the number 9 strength of schedule by KenPom. So they've done it and scored in a quick pace against some of the best teams in the country. So Alabama at 65 to 1 may not be the worst as far as these mid-range odds, because that's a number that's only going to get better as they continue to win and probably make the run through the SEC tournament. So I like that. Nebraska's a tough one to look away from at 30 to 1, because again, that's going to be one that is not going to get any better than that. And they play a tight matchup on the road in Iowa tonight. So this may be the time, if you're going to look at Nebraska, to bet them before that road game in a really hard environment there in Iowa City. Louisville's scary as well. And a little teaser. I'm on Louisville tonight on the road at SMU. I think that they obviously are one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country, but as of late, they've been one of the most efficient two-point shooting teams in the country. In the last month, I got to look at the number when we get into the games, but it's in the last month. They are the number 8 two-point field goal percentage team in the country.
Wow.
So Louisville getting efficient and peaking at the right time, like we've been saying here, right at the end of the conference regular season.
Well, and I was actually looking at Louisville, and they do not have a bad loss this year. I mean, they have Duke, Virginia, Stanford, Tennessee, and Arkansas. So, I mean, you can kind of understand all of those, and only Duke and Virginia were at home.
Number
I don't
12.
hate that at all.
12th most efficient offense by Ken Pom, 27 on defense, 37th tempo. I like the tempo number 2 as well. You want to look for a team that's top 25 right now in both offense and defense on
Yes.
Ken Pom. Those will be the ones that give you the advantage when all else is even in terms of these matchups.
Did you say their strength of schedule? 92nd?
They are 92nd, top 100 strength of schedule.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get better as they continue to roll through the ACC.
I don't hate that at all.
There's a long shot I might be able to talk myself into. I think BYU is too top heavy. I think as AJ DeBonsta goes, they go. I think same with Arkansas. I think they're a little too top heavy. They're not as deep as I'd like to see. UNC versus NC State, that tough one tonight with both of those two teams making this graphic. Look, if you're on this graphic as a team, congratulations, you're one of the best in the country. I don't necessarily know if any of those teams on the right, though, have a shot outside of Alabama.
Well, if you're taking a flyer on any of those, you are hoping that they do.
I saw Ryan's face.
I did too. You are hoping that they do make a little bit of a run, right? And then you can start hedging off of it. But just one more point about Alabama. That's a team that you're hoping just gets really hot at the right time, because we know that they will throw up as many 3-pointers as they would like. And Nate
NBA
Oates
style.
has, Elite 8 last year. Final 4 the year before. I don't think this is his best team, but they get hot at the right time. So, Ryan, any more on there? So I cannot believe that Sean's long shot that he gave us last Friday has now moved a ton.
Yep, from 300 now to 80
Sean's
to
a
1
smart
with
cookie.
there with Wisconsin.
Are you
But,
laying 80 to 1 on UNC?
I am going to say that I think that price will get even better over the next couple of weeks because they are without Caleb Wilson with a broken hand for at least a month. They might be without Henry Vasar again tonight against NC State. So there is a good chance that they lose lose a couple games heading towards the ACC tournament. But they will be a team to be reckoned with in said ACC tournament. And I mean, I do like Hubert Davis, and I do like what that team has been able to do in the fight that they show. So I'm not going to say don't bet against the heels once we get to NCAA tournament time. Anyway, but teams that I would like, or maybe kind of caution from, Texas Tech there at 25 to 1. We just watched them go into Arizona and show a lot more fight against the number 1 team in the country. So they are not going to back down from any dog that they see in the NCAA tournament. I do know there are a lot of fans of the Cougars out there in BYU, but losing Richie Saunders for the year is a massive drop-off for that team, so I would not be tempted to take BYU there at 50 to 1. We did have JR in the chat, yes, JR and Dean Hill both agreeing on that Arkansas pick there at 60 to 1, even though JR does not like John Calipari. I do like the Louisville at 40 to 1, although they have kind of shown that there are a couple teams in the field that they aren't able to beat. That would be Duke specifically.
Yeah, true.
So
They get that matchup.
yeah, as long as if they avoid that matchup, if they avoid that matchup entirely, maybe. But yeah, kind of. Long story short, I think the price on North Carolina is going to get better. I would be looking at Texas Tech there at the 25 to 1. And possibly that Louisville at 40.
And JR also mentioning in there, asking about Miami, Ohio. They're not listed because preseason they weren't one of the options listed here on the sheet at South Point. So they're going to be under the field category, which opened the year at 30 to 1, is now 50 to 1. So field right there between St. John's and Arkansas. And again, that's just because they weren't offered as a preseason choice, which tells you how little that the books thought of that team. Again, take a look at the sheets. Come on down to South Point. Come visit us. It is right down on the very, very bottom. You got odds for Boston College, North Texas, running Rebels, but Miami, Ohio on the field.
Miami, Ohio, very good.
When he asked where is Miami, Ohio in the comments, by the way, I thought for a moment he was asking geographically. JR is from Ohio and right there from around the Cincinnati area. So I'm like, Oxford. Come on. I was just there in the fall. We talked about it, JR.
Yeah.
But yeah, field 50 to 1 right now for Miami, Ohio, if you like that.
Well, and JR did mention the last time a Big Ten team won it all was 2000.
Yeah.
Michigan State. You brought up kind of betting on the conference versus the field, or maybe if they have an option for those Power 4.
Yeah.
I would like to have Big Ten and have Michigan and Wisconsin and Michigan State and have all those teams. And I got to imagine that's probably going to be the favorite, but we'll see.
Nice little index fund of the Big Ten.
Yes.
Hey, that's going to be soon enough with private equity in college football. We're going to be betting on index funds for some of these teams. Not financial advice.
Okay, is there any more? I will say, as we always do, shop around because there are different casinos with different prices on all of these teams. And like Sean found Wisconsin 300 to 1 here, you may be able to still find it 200 to 1 at another shop. I've got a couple, and I'll say it now. I got a bad number on Alabama, so I'm glad you liked it. But that was more of a Steve Cofield and I decided we'd take a flyer on that.
Blame Cofield.
But that is when we thought that they were going to keep the former G Leaguer.
Yeah. All you got to do is wait for them to find another judge to grant them a third injunction. This is it. I could do a whole hour-long show just on the ridiculousness of college sports right now.
So maybe we'll get that. I got Michigan State 45 to 1, St. John's 80 to 1, and a little flyer on St. Louis at 125 to 1.
Happy field, baby.
Which is that field too? Yeah.
No, St. Louis was on here.
Okay.
You got to find them. There's a lot of teams offered in Miami. Ohio's not one of them.
Well, and they are in action tonight, and a little teaser.
I need like
them.
a Control F function just for this sheet.
Yeah, definitely.
There's your macro keys right there. I'll look for St. Louis if we want to move on.
I think they might be in the field.
I think so too, actually.
But
I can't
we'll
read
see.
fast enough.
Let us know in the comments if there are any teams that you like, and just even if it is for a value and for a certain price. But we'll keep an eye on all of those. Sounds like top wise though, it's Michigan and Houston for Sports by the Book, and then longer shots getting I don't know, kind of mixture with all of us.
There's some interesting odds, and I think that this week specifically, with about 2 weeks left to go and about 4 or 5 games left across the country, is going to be telling as the teams really start to settle in and brace for the conference tournament season. And
I will say too, there are some other markets that you can get involved with to make the Final Four, things like that. If you don't want to take a flyer on a team to win it all. But okay, let's get into some games that we've got tonight. Ryan, how many did you say we have total?
30.
30 games, a lot of really good ones. Not a lot of Mountain West, Matt, but that is why you get the night off. You guys got a home game tomorrow.
Yeah, I can't wait. Colorado State comes to town. A rematch of a game in Fort Collins in January that the Rebels blew at the end. So should be a fun one. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, come listen to us, ESPN Las Vegas or the Varsity Network app. That's where I tell people to go.
And a lot of people that do watch our show regularly will chime in the next day and say that they did listen to your broadcast. So
I feel bad for them.
It is a good reminder for them now.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, let's get into it. Let's start off with the ACC here, Boston College and Florida State. This is a play that I really like, and I'm looking at the total in this one. We got to ask our ACC guy, though, if he has any nuggets on it. Florida State, 12-point favorite, total 148. I like the under here between these two. A lot has to do with the pace, of course. Looking at the trends, though, Boston College has a nice 16-9, so 16 unders, 9 overs on the year. Let me pull up the rest of this here. Boston College has lost 6 straight. Florida State has won 4 of their last 5. That is where we're getting this huge spread here. But Boston College, 262nd in pace. So really just about 66 possessions per 100 minutes. They are 55th defensively, and they are 271st offensively. So give me the better defense here. Can slow it down, try and hang around in this one. I think it's too many points there at 148. So that is my first play on this board.
And Florida State does run a fast tempo. Ken Palm's got them 22nd in the country, but typically in these matchups where the faster paced teams will get out to, more than likely, you would assume, to a big lead against the Boston College team that struggles to score. They're not going to need to run that 22nd fastest tempo. Maybe if they're down, maybe if Florida State, had some fortitude and decided to play Florida, they would need to run that fast tempo because they'd likely be down. But I think that with Florida State able to get up in this game early, they're going to be able to slow it down, and I like that handicap because of that.
And the other thing, and I think this kind of all relates to each other, but Florida State's tempo and possessions per game has dropped a lot since conference play, right?
But they've been winning.
But they have been winning, exactly. And then non-con, though, you can see where they can continue that pace.
You see that a lot. You see that a lot with teams like Power 4 teams that may not be the top tier teams like a Florida State that'll go into these tournaments or go into these MTEs and dominate your Mercers and your Bradleys and win against lower level teams, and then they go against teams of their own ilk and they have to slow it down because of the size and the physicality that conference play will typically bring across the country. So I think everything in this game leans me as well to a Florida State and Boston College under. I like that.
Well, I will just say I'm gonna tread lightly, and Ryan even told us. I'm pretty shocked to hear 14-8-2 to the over in yesterday's games. Seems like as we're getting closer to the conference tournaments and March Madness that they would be more defensive oriented, but we're seeing more points. So
you would think so. And there is sometimes a pretty sharp contrast between regular season and tournament time with backs against the wall and, one game playoff every single game for a lot of these teams. So I think that you do see it slow down pretty drastically. Some conferences more than others, too. There are conferences that lend themselves more to a slow it down style of play with how big some of the bodies are.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Ryan, anything for this matchup here, BC and Florida State?
So Florida State is 2-4 at home in conference play, and Boston College is 0-5 on the road in conference play. They also have a median loss, or their median loss on the medium on the road would be a loss by 12, which is right where the number is. So definitely would be more confident in Florida State being able to get this one done. But Alex had talked about the tempo slowing down for this team. I would imagine this is going to be a nearly empty gym for this game. Boston College is not an opponent that is much to write home about. They are at the bottom of the conference. So, yeah, I wouldn't hate the under there at the 148, which is the highest in the market. There are some other 148s in the market, but that is where the highest number is 148.
The other thing, Florida State, not really a three-point shooting team, so that can definitely help out as well. All right, well, let's go to the big one here. Ryan, what are we looking at in regards to spread and total with Michigan and Purdue?
Michigan is a 2.5-point road favorite here at Purdue, and the total is 157.
This is a show and prove game for both of these teams, but especially Purdue hosting Michigan, who everybody agrees is the top 2 team in the country, may not be number 2. This is a game where you really test who you are at this point of the year, especially in a game where you said that last one between Florida State and Boston College is not going to have a lot of fans. This one's going to be rowdy. This is going to be a crazy atmosphere.
I really like the way Purdue is playing. I do understand because first glance, you'd probably think only 2.5 for this Michigan team, but I think Purdue is rounding into form at the right time here. So I think the number's right. I did love the over. Last night it was 154. That is where the steam is going, and I do agree with that. And kind of contrasts like the other two that we just talked about, where Michigan wants to run and gun, very fast, very good offensively as well. Purdue likes to slow it down, but they're very efficient. So lower possessions, but still, if you look at the final scores, very high-scoring game still.
And this is going to be one of those ones where the analytics actually come into play, points per possession, the one that I'm thinking about, because of the like you had said, the possession battle is likely going to be even in terms of total possessions back and forth. So whoever's going to be more efficient in this game is going to be the one that comes out on top. I think Michigan is the more efficient team. They are the more efficient offensive team. They also do it with a little bit more volume. I think that in this matchup, they're going to be able to speed things up a little bit because it's going to be close throughout. I think Michigan's going to be able to do enough to pull it out late. I think this is one where free throws get you one way or the other.
I agree. And I think it's gotten a little bit too high here for me to get involved and to give out that over. But definitely one, if you are playing in-game and you see it kind of start slow, or maybe they're missing shots that they'd normally be making, then you can jump in on an over there. But, okay.
This one did open at 151.5 in the market and opened 155.5 here at South Point and has moved up, steady up everywhere. Did peak at 158 here at South Point and has now kind of settled back to that 157.5. But another game that did open at a 151 in the market is Villanova at Xavier. That total now is at a 152 here at South Point. But Villanova is another road favorite in that one, 4-point road favorite there at Xavier.
Matt, anything for you in this one? I know you were contemplating.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Xavier at home. Villanova coming into this one on a winning streak, especially against Xavier. But I think that this is where it ends. You got a Xavier team that's hungry. Both teams basically scoring at about the same pace, and I love looking at home dogs this time of year. Xavier, I'm going to go ahead and play him on the money line, but I like it to stay close. And again, I think free throws get you one way or another on this one. And I would rather, in a close game in a conference environment, take the home team that needs a win. I think we talked about back against the wall in the conference tournament. I think that's what time we have here for Xavier. The only thing that could burn you here is Villanova really flexing their defensive muscle. I think that's the only thing that could get you on this one. You are laying the money, or I guess taking the points with the public side if you're with Xavier, so that gives you a little bit of pause as well. But I think with all that being said, I think the Musketeers are able to get it done at home.
I have just been back in Villanova lately, and they've been doing well for me, but it is their third road game in 4, so I didn't have anything in this one way or the other, but have been impressed with them lately since their overtime loss to Connecticut.
Some injury issues, and that overtime loss to Connecticut was impressive. But I think that this is where you start to see that attrition really start to come to the forefront. Third road game out of 4, injured team, banged up this time of year. I think both of these teams need to win desperately to get a lot of momentum. But Xavier, I think, needs it a little bit more here, and I think that this is where they buck that trend of the recent lack of success against the Wildcats.
And there is a game in between when Richard Pitino had to play against his dad's team.
Yeah.
So they did have a good win over Marquette in there, staying at home. So I would say situational, definitely lean in there.
The other one as well, Xavier 11-4 at home this year. I'm going to take that. I'm going home court advantage. I'm going to go with Xavier plus the 4. I'll probably lay some of the money line as well.
All right, we're going to keep it going with the last undefeated team here, Miami, Ohio.
Yep.
On the road
There's
against
your field bet,
UMass. Any movement on this one, Ryan? We're sitting at 3 now.
Yeah, 3 here at the South Point. It opened in the market at 3. South Point has it moved up to a 3.5, but is now back down to the 3, where it's kind of looks like it's settled. Total did open 163, moved immediately down to 161, and has now kind of found its way back up to now 162.5. So road favorite here, the undefeated team, the lone undefeated team in the country of 3, and the total sitting at 162.5.
I mean, they should win this one tonight. They should cover that 3, but we've been talking about strength of schedule, and I think that this is a very scary team to bet if you're JR. You're looking at them for a potential national championship run. All right, strength of schedule. There's 365 teams in the country. Miami, Ohio comes into this one having played the 359th most challenging schedule in the country. They have not played anybody. UMass doesn't count. They're awful, and that's a hockey arena, so there's going to be no home court advantage there for the Minutemen tonight. I think Miami stays undefeated, but this is going to be a team that I'm staying away from with a 10, 20, 30-foot pole in conference play, especially given the fact that they play the 147th best defense in the country by KenPom. Couple that with the strength of schedule that you and I might have played a tougher schedule this year than the Miami, Ohio Red Hawks. So as far as tonight, they should blow out UMass. As far as anything future-wise, no thank you.
Can they win one game? Can they?
And honestly, it depends on what seed.
Well, and the tough thing is you're talking about their schedule. So really, these offensive numbers are a little bit skewed too, because right now they have the 3rd best 2-point percentage shooting and 19th from 3. But then they're going to be facing better defenses,
Much
right,
better.
in the tournament. So but still, those are the teams you're looking for.
Yeah, but I mean,
with that round 1 upset.
Is like a 12 seed Miami, Ohio versus a 5 seed Louisville. Is that a matchup that you feel comfortable laying points with, or that you feel comfortable taking points with? I just, if they're an 8 or a 9 seed, let's just say, I think they get blown out. I think that there's some favorable matchups in terms of seeding for them, but it's going to matter where they play. It's one of those teams where I think that matters. A lot of times for the top tier teams, like let's just say 5 seed Louisville. It doesn't matter if they got to go play in Omaha or if they got to go play in Dayton, Ohio. They should travel. They'll have a pretty good advantage no matter where they play. Miami, Ohio, if they got to go to L.A. or South Florida or something like that, that's a disadvantage right off the bat. Couple that with the fact that they haven't played anybody like they're going to play in the NCAA tournament. I don't know. It's all matchup based, and that's normally not the case for these undefeated teams at this time of year. So it sounds weird saying it, but yeah, I got nothing on that one.
I hope they do just at least keep it going and make the tournament easy. I don't want it to, come down to the committee and then keep them out if they have one loss
They're
and
one losses
lose.
in the conference
Yeah,
championship.
don't win the MAC. Yeah, or that. So I do like them tonight, though. And I compared my dad's numbers, too. He's got them 6.5 here on the road against UMass.
That's
so
a short number, yeah.
I think they can keep it going here. If you can get 3 or better, I think that's a pretty good play. And it's not like we've been fading them for them to lose. So we're going to just continue to ride them here. 6 more games to be undefeated in the regular season.
I'll fade UMass. They stink.
Okay, very good.
Can I bring up another ACC game that I'm going to be all over tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Louisville SMU. That's going to be a fun one in Dallas. Louisville was catching or laying 4 points. They still are. I'm going to go with the Cardinals here. That's why they were top of mind. Where would you seed them right now, by the way?
Oh,
I think a 5 seed sounds about accurate. That was just kind of I was trying to think.
That sounded very accurate when you said it.
I was going to say 12-5 like McNeese versus Clemson last year, but then we saw how that was more on Will Wade than anything. I could do a whole show on that 12-5 matchup, but
I have not taken any time to look at any bracketology. Have you?
Not other than the potential matchup between App State and Michigan in the first round. No, I have not. It's not worth it. It's not worth it for me until you get to conference tournament time.
Yeah,
and you ask coaches about it. They don't care.
Yeah,
it's all for us. It's all for the fan. But Louisville SMU. Louisville's hot. They have been one of the most efficient teams in the country. It's been an interesting kind of dichotomy for them offensively because they shoot 3-pointers at the 4th highest rate in the country. So they got no problem running and gunning. But when you talk about 2-point shooting, they are the 8th most efficient 2-point shooting team in the country. Over 60% field goal percentage when shooting it from inside the arc. And on the other end, they're holding their opponents to just under 46% on 2-point shots, which is the 15th best team in the country. I think in this matchup, which is projected to be close by the spread, I'm going to take the much more efficient team inside. I feel comfortable. I think that the total's high on this one as well. These are two teams that I think are... I don't want to say efficient. They're both volume offensive teams. But I think in a matchup like this, where I think Louisville gets a pretty good-sized lead on the road, I don't think that they're going to be in any rush. I don't think they're going to speed it up if they have a lead, especially in the atmosphere at SMU. I think eventually the Mustangs are going to be a powerhouse, but not yet, and especially not on the hardwood. So I'm going to go with Louisville. They've won and covered both games against SMU since joining the ACC. They're on a 5-game winning streak. They won the first matchup by 14 points, and that was after they trailed by 12 early. So a huge swing. Louisville's got a ton of confidence. Give me the Cardinals tonight, and I'll lay the 4 points on the road.
And they get no home revenge because Louisville was at home and just hosted and won that one. I do think that is a bad matchup here for SMU. It would only be the Cardinals for me. Pretty incredible to see where SMU is in the ACC, where they're 6-6, but one of the worst defenses in that conference.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, that could come into play. This could be a team that we're looking to fade the rest of the way in conference play. But you did skip another ACC game that I know Ryan cares a lot about.
Oh, yeah.
So we do have to go back. I don't think any of us.
I knew we were going over it. I knew we were. Ryan's not going to give us a choice.
You're just usually very rotation number. No. So I thought that you accidentally
You know me.
missed
I'm a disciplinarian.
Yeah, that's right. So going back to 6-15, 6-16 with North Carolina and NC State. I don't think anybody has a play on it, though. So maybe that is why you didn't know if we were going to talk about it. But NC State, a 7-point favorite at home against
feels like
North
a lot.
Carolina. It is a lot. I agree.
They lost by 41 points to Louisville last week.
Yep.
Thanks for reminding me. I had got the best of the number, though. Solid 6.5.
That's all that matters, right?
Yeah. Well, what do we think? Ryan, what do you think?
I do think it's too much, and I think it's a take of the 7. You mentioned what NC State did in their last time out. Carolina has played a game already that was against Pitt, so not necessarily that much to write home about, but they have played a game already without Caleb Wilson and Henry Vasar, who is a game-time decision tonight. So if he plays, that's a 7-footer back in Carolina's lineup. That will be a great addition to be in their lineup throughout the regular season. But again, game-time decision, so keep an eye on that. North Carolina is also 22-6 all-time in Raleigh, so they have no problem beating the Wolfpack in the Wolfpack's building. And we've also heard Will Wade kind of talk about his team being soft this year, not necessarily being to the standard that they were when they made their kind of miracle run in the March Madness tournament. So, yeah, I think this 7 is way too much, even though Carolina is a bit banged up. I think that team is still more respectable even without Caleb Wilson and Henry Basar. So it's definitely a take the 7 for me.
We may have to get boots on the ground in this game. My mom lives about 5 minutes away from PNC Bank Arena there in Raleigh. Maybe we have her as a correspondent if I can teach her how to use her cell phone long enough to get a good video going. She would be the one.
Awesome.
She'd be the one to be trying to film like a selfie video, like "Hey everybody," but be shooting the wrong way and be getting a great angle of the ceiling.
Oh, of the ceiling.
Yeah, facing the wrong way. Love you, Babs.
I do think it's a little overreaction here with the injuries and comparing with my dad's. He's got it 5. So
the number feels big, and by that, I would lean North Carolina. I think that this is, you want to talk about a show me game, like I mentioned for Michigan and Purdue. This one is going to tell you exactly who these two teams are, and I think that North Carolina, the cream rises to the top. I think that they're going to be able to rise to the forefront, and we with the banged up team, at least keep it close. I think they win, but I think they keep it close as well. A lot of support for the Tar Heels statewide. Raleigh is a Tar Heel town. There just happens to be another school there.
Well, that is funny, right? Because they don't really get a home court here.
Yeah.
Will it be about 50-50?
Maybe. I mean,
that's a little much.
There's
right?
a ton of UNC fans, and Chapel Hill's only like 20 minutes away from Raleigh, and the Dookies also infiltrating there as well in Durham, the RDU Triangle. Very homogenous when it comes to fans. It's like a Jets Giants thing in New York, New Jersey. It's always interesting to see who is supporting who and why. And then there's little brother App State, 4th out of 4.
Yeah, that's okay. We are going to skip the next one because Florida is a 23-point favorite over South Carolina, total 155.5. South Carolina struggling in that very competitive SEC. Yeah. Ryan, where are we going next?
Going to 627, 628, St. Louis on the road at Rhode Island. St. Louis is a 10-point road favorite there and a total of 152.5. I'm
going to ride with St. Louis again. Had them last week as well, and again, checking Kenny White power ratings here. He's got him 16 on the road against Rhode Island. And he also has an overplay because he's got it 164. Personally, I like St. Louis more, but could not fault you if you were looking to take that over. Rhode Island, a little bit more of an under team, though, 14 and 11 to the under. But you're looking at possession time here and really counting on St. Louis to control this pace. But, I mean, it's kind of contradicting, right? If he's got him 16 points better on the road, we might, if it is turn into a little bit of a blowout, it's going to be tough to get to that over. So I'm going to stick with the favorite here. What do you think about St. Louis?
I think Robbie Avila is the man. No, I think they're going to be a team that takes a lot of steam as far as public money come NCAA tournament time. I don't know if they're a team that's going to make another run.
What's their strength of schedule? Do you have that up still?
I can find it here.
Okay.
Ken Palm is very searchable. St. Louis right now, 313. Wow. 313th out of 365 strength of schedule. So again, if you've been kind of going with what we've been saying all show long, that should give you some pause. They're the 39th ranked offense, 21st ranked defense, 19th tempo. So those three by themselves, appealing. I like those three and kind of where they are because you like the teams that are consistent. Not Alabama, who's like number 2 in offense and 70 in defense. But again, 313th in strength of schedule. Can't fault them for the conference they play in. The A10 is underrated.
How is Nebraska 318th?
Do you have their schedule up?
I'm pulling it up right now. Oh, wow. Their non-con was not tough by any means.
They're the 8th best defense because they were guarding Alex Ryan and I.
Yeah. And they killed it.
They shut us down. Ryan was the only one that scored, yeah.
So really it has just been conference play where it don't have a lot of quad 1 and 2. So that's incredible because, I mean, I guess what we're saying is if you're going to stay away from Miami, Ohio, and St. Louis, don't take any flyers on Nebraska either.
No, we're just hating on the Midwest this whole show.
Okay, well, we were hating on the South too with the SEC.
Yeah,
so
exactly. We hate you if you're not from Vegas.
Proud Mountain West supporters over here. Okay, let's keep it going. So I do like St. Louis. I like Miami, Ohio as well. I might even tie those two up.
You know what? Another one that I like.
Little money line parlay.
One that I like just looking at the board. I got no numbers to back it up right now, so this would be a field play. Lean Tennessee Martin, 635, 636 is the rotation number there. They're playing SEMO, Southeast Missouri State. It's the game's in Tennessee Martin, 2.5 points. They have been outstanding. They dog walked UNLV in the opening game this season back in November.
Yeah,
and they really have not slowed down since. I said when they beat UNLV by double-digit points that they were going to be a very tough team because they're made up of almost all Eastern European that are 6'6" to 6'9" and rotate on everything. You're not going to find a pick that they don't switch on because their entire team can guard 1 through 5. They've got a crazy good, really young coach. He's got this team believing. So I like the Skyhawks in this one. Tennessee Martin. There are some interesting games in the Mountain West tonight. I'm looking at Fresno State to keep it close on the road at Wyoming. That's a Wyoming team that's pretty small overall and kind of fading as we go to the back half of conference play. And really the only other one that I've got an opinion on the board one way or another, I think Texas blows out LSU with Shaka Smart leading the way. No Deon Thomas Jr. the rest of the way for LSU. Broke his foot again, and he's out for the year. So I like Texas. 10.5 was a big number there, and I'm all the way up to 11.5. So the public steam coming in. I may add Tennessee Martin as a play, but by the time we leave the air here in about 10 minutes.
Well, I did want to tell you, Ken Palm agrees. They have them winning by 5 here, and no home revenge, but they did play earlier this year. Tennessee Martin lost that first one on the road, so trying to split on the season. I do like to go for that with these conferences as well. So 2.5, pretty good number. That is right where we have the number, but I don't hate it by any means. Any more? You said you did like Texas Tech?
Texas regular.
Texas regular. Okay.
Texas regular. Hook 'em tonight.
Sorry. Texas Tech against Arizona State.
Light. Diet Texas.
There we go.
There you go.
All right. The only other one I really have, I do like Wisconsin tonight against Ohio State.
That one has had some movement
Has
in
it?
the last 5 minutes. Yeah, so it was 1.5 in the market for the road team, Wisconsin there. It has now moved to a favorite flip of a 1.5 to Ohio State.
Wow.
It is a pick here at the South Point, minus 110 either way. So it looks like Ohio State has gotten a good amount of play in order to kind of move that number off of Wisconsin minus 1.5 to now Ohio State minus 1.5 and a pick 'em here at the South Point.
I wonder if that is injury related then, or if people just kind of going against Wisconsin after the big overtime win against Illinois and then beating Michigan State the way they did.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just a situational spot. But number-wise, I do think that Wisconsin is the correct side. Ohio State has not been very impressive this year.
It's actually a big night in the Big Ten. Nebraska, Iowa should be a fun one. I don't necessarily have a play one way or the other. One of the ones that we were taking a look at right at the bottom of the board, it's going to be at 7:30 tonight, Minnesota, Oregon. Oregon laying 3 at home, and they've been just awful. They're playing their long-time conference foe, Minnesota, but I just don't know. I would not lay a point with the Ducks at this point.
No, and that is the exact handicap. I mean, maybe this game could be a pick 'em, but I don't think they should be a 4-point favorite. Now, there is injury news on both sides, and I believe Oregon is the positive one that's getting a player back, not Minnesota, but still, I would only be taking the 4 points there. Another one from Mountain West, and Matt, you tell me if you like this one, but Fresno State catching 8.5 or 9 against Wyoming. I am always hesitant with Wyoming at home because it is a good home court advantage.
9.5 now.
But 9.5 for Fresno State, that's a lot of points.
And they're a team that runs a very fast tempo. They scored 98 against UNLV, and UNLV has been prone to some leaks defensively at times this year. But they are a very fast team. Vance Wahlberg, one of the innovators, their head coach of the dribble drive offense that John Calipari uses, and really a lot of the NBA kind of uses that offense now. Thinking the Denver Nuggets with Nikola Jokic as the perfect dribble drive head at the top of the key. I think they're a team that can light it up when they want to. And Wyoming, like I said, fading down the stretch. They're a smaller team. Fresno State will have a size advantage. And Zayon Collins, the Vegas native, he is going to be the straw that stirs the drink tonight. And I think the Bulldogs, they may not win. I think they keep it close.
Ryan, what do you think? We all going with the Bulldogs here?
Yeah, we can stamp approval.
Stamp it, baby.
Very good. All right. Fresno State. Okay, is there any more from either of you two that we need to get to?
The only other one that was mentioned in the comments, Dean Hilt bringing up UCLA, Michigan State as another big game in the Big Ten.
I know. And Michigan State is almost double digits, right?
Yeah, and you want to talk about two coaches that I have complete opposite feelings on?
What do you mean? I like Mick Cronin still. He just has crazy.
That makes one of us.
Yeah, his press conferences are crazy, but they are always good sound bites.
I guess. Izzo's the man.
I think it's just a bit, though. He just wants to be an angry man and complaining about something.
I don't want to air out like personal stuff, but I've met him off. I've met him not on a camera.
Okay.
He's fine. Tom Izzo's a great guy, though.
Yes.
And I have no opinion one way or another about Michigan State or Michigan as a state in general. But I think that Tom Izzo is one of the most respected and well-deserved honors of coaches in the country. I just don't like Mick Cronin.
That's fair. Well, you love Izzo in March, and you're ready to bet Michigan State when it comes March time.
Absolutely,
So,
yeah. He's made me a lot of money over the years. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
I am curious of your guys' thoughts of a different coach, one that was just let go over at Kansas State, who is now a home underdog here against Baylor. 3.5 is the number at South Point. Did peak at 4. There's a 2.5 available in the market on Baylor, or in the game, but laying 2.5 there with Baylor in the market, laying a 3.5 here at South Point, and the total is 159.5.
Give me Baylor.
Wow. You're not a fired coach bump?
No, because
Guy?
the players liked him. He didn't get fired
Yeah.
because the players didn't like him or play hard for him. He got fired because he criticized the university, and they're going to be in a legal bloodbath because they're trying to avoid paying out. They say they fired him for cause.
Yep.
And this is an interesting conversation that I would be really curious to have with a lawyer. Maybe you and Cofield could have. What is it, Justin Watkins
Yeah.
from Battleborn?
Yeah.
This would be his conversation for him
definitely.
because if you are critical of the university and they fire you for something you said that is covered by a First Amendment protection, what are we doing? And that sets the precedent for a lot of coaches across the country to get fired. Doug Gottlieb would be out of a job 4 times by now. So, yeah, I as it relates to tonight's game, like I said, I could go on a whole diatribe about that. But give me Baylor. Kansas State likes Jerome Tang. They love playing for him. He was a player's coach. He didn't get let go because the players didn't like playing for him.
You know where Jerome Tang coached before Kansas State, right?
Where was he?
Baylor.
Oh no! Oh, even better.
So I don't know what that means for this
I don't
game.
think it has to mean anything. There's the connection's enough.
Well, let me see how many years under, because he was there under Scott Drew too.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't know. Maybe that does lean more to Baylor, like you said, where everybody's kind of got his back here.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
JR in the comments.
What'd she
Fired
say?
for cause is such a joke. Play some of those Cronin press conferences from early in the season. Thank you, JR. I knew I liked you.
Jerome Tang was at Baylor for 19 years.
Oh my God. Give me Baylor tonight.
Let's go Baylor. JR's so funny though. You could have a conversation for a while with him about which coaches
Oh,
he does and doesn't
you should
like.
see us at the ballpark walking around the concourse.
Just catching up on college basketball.
Yeah.
Who you agree with? Brian, did we hit everything?
Yes.
Okay.
In college basketball, yes. But I am curious of Matt's thoughts of 2 things in college football.
Yes.
We get North Dakota State to join the Mountain West, and Sacramento State is, for some reason, joining the MAC. So, Matt, the floor is yours.
Oh man, I feel like I just won. Not part of the interruption. I might blank. Around the horn. I feel like I just went around the horn, and this is my FaceTime here. I'll keep it short because we're coming up on the hour mark for the show. It's 2 teams, or I guess 2 programs, doing it for 2 very different reasons. For North Dakota State in the Mountain West, this is one that's been coming for a long time. Their addition to a big-time conference. It was always either going to be the Mountain West or the MAC, which they ended up with, I think, the better of the 2 right now in terms of the money that they'll get eventually. And yeah, they're paying a lot. $18 million to the conference to move up, and another $5 million or so, or those are the SAC numbers. But North Dakota State's paying $12 million to the Mountain West, another $5 million to the NCAA to move up. But they're a team with infrastructure, they're a team with donors, they're a team with facilities, and they're a team with success. Sacramento State won 9 games one time a couple years ago and are trying to parlay that into being a big-time member of a big-time conference. Nuh-uh. North Dakota State's ready to go. They've got the donors. Now, while the only hesitancy in my mind for them in the early stages of their FBS career, I guess we can say, is that the scholarship difference between the FCS and the FBS levels is like 40. They had 60-something scholarship players last year. They're going to have that be triple digits this year. I think it may be an interesting year, too, but they're going to be entered into the conference right away, and they're going to be competitive in year 1 or year 2. And as it applies to Sacramento State, my goodness, I am very happy to not be involved in that realm of college athletics because this is a mess. They are not taking a cent of TV money over the 5-year deal that they just signed with the MAC. They are paying $18 million to the conference, 6 of which is due year 1, and another 5 to the NCAA. And this is a school without a track record, without an established head coach, without donors, and with a stadium that has been proposed, somewhat funded, and then has had that funding taken away. And, oh yeah, just in case you weren't aware of what's going on right now on the Sacramento State campus, there's a Teamsters strike for buildings that are already being constructed and renovated around California's capital. So this is a mess. This is a disaster. This is going to be a team that is irrelevant in the MAC for 5 years, and then they're either going to try to go up or they're going to be relegated again. It's going to be the first team to ever go FCS to FBS to D2. For financial reasons. I don't think that is actually going to happen. But this is a mess. And again, I said before the show, you said, you want to talk Sac State? I said I could go for an hour on Sacramento State, because by the time that they have to pay the Pied Piper and the AD and the president have to answer for this travesty, they're going to be long gone, because this is not going to be something that goes well for them. Oh, yeah, by the way, they're paying and putting up every team's travel that comes to play them. They're paying for everybody's travel to come play them at home.
I didn't realize that.
And the best part, and as far as the short-term inconvenience of them joining year one, they had 8 non-conference games scheduled for this year. They have to cancel 4 or 5 games in the next 2 months.
And pay them.
And probably pay those teams, because they were paying a lot of them. They paid Alcorn State to come and play them this year. And they're going to have to pay those teams to not play them. And they're going to have to now put those teams at a disadvantage and screw those teams over schedule-wise. So this is a self-sided, selfish, short-term approach by Sacramento State. I get the reasoning, but I don't understand the way that they get there. Sometimes it is about the destination and not the journey.
So how much are they paying the MAC?
They're paying the MAC $18 million, split amongst the teams, 6 of which is owed by the time that they take the field week 1.
Oh my God.
And they got to pay the NCAA $5 million just to move up. I don't know how that's distributed, but they're paying easily $10 million. They don't really have a new home stadium. They don't have the funding or the plans for one. And they're the president, or the president of the school. Go look up his tweet about it. Some of the numbers and the reasonings. He basically put out a bullet list of why he thinks it's going to be good. He needs to go to a class that teaches him about TV numbers and how they relate to money for football teams.
Yeah.
He's projecting that Sacramento State over the course of this 5-year deal is going to make $1 billion in TV revenue when they're not getting a cent of it from the conference. I'm like, I suck at math. The only math I know is on these sheets. And even I know that doesn't make any sense. The SEC as a conference isn't going to do that in the next 5 years. Unbelievable stuff going on right now in college athletics.
Well, very happy about the Mountain West one. I'm glad that you approve of that one.
I think it's a good move. I think North Dakota State's going to be competitive right away. You add in Hawaii as a full-fledged member next year. You got Northern Illinois. You got UTEP. You've got the widest range geographically of schools in any one conference in the country. It's the new look Mountain West, and the UNLV is the flagship program, so I'll take it.
Well, and the only reason you're not complaining about the widest range is because you got to stop in Hawaii.
Yeah, and they're probably not going to send us to Fargo this year is what I'm hearing.
Oh.
They're going to come to us. It'll be in a dome either way.
Yes, they do play in a dome.
Yeah, the Fargo Dome, baby.
To get into the dome is very cold.
And Attila, I am holding back. That was not how I really feel. I could go an hour on that.
Good. Our regulars in there. Did we miss anything? Any game numbers or anything? Ryan, I know that they did ask UCLA and Michigan State just to because that one was in there for a second. Our number 7.5 and 139.5. So a slight lean to UCLA taking the points, but do we trust them with that second half meltdown we just saw from them against Michigan? Michigan State is not at the same level as Michigan, but still.
Fire Mick Cronin for cause. I love it. And now that you can just do that, I guess.
And now that you can just do that.
Yeah.
No, that's not going to work out very well.
No, I
for
think
that school.
No, Drum Tang is going to be owed and will receive I think it's almost $17 million that he's owed from Kansas State. I think you want to talk about short-sighted. I think this was a pretty reactive move by the administration.
Yeah, I would agree. What if they just strike and decide not to play the second half?
Hey, Northwestern football tried to unionize a couple years ago. We saw how that worked out.
I think that's it for us today, Ryan. I know we've got a lot more to touch on before we give out our best bets. If you want to start us off, including we did get news about the party coming up here, right? Which is the Most Massive Madness Party in Vegas, March 19th through 21st. Plenty of seating and screens and viewing. So this is going to be those first 4 days of college basketball March Madness.
This is the best place to watch by far.
It really is. We love it. We'll all be there. We'll have our little South Point studio table.
Did we already reserve the table? They are in high demand every year.
Yes.
If we can't get a table, nobody can. So that's how you know that they're in high demand. If I have to ask about it,
we got it reserved, Matt. And Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we will be taking shifts. I'm sure we'll all be there at one point in time, but ton of fun. Drink and food specials, free parking, all the good stuff. But okay, Ryan, go ahead with the ticker trivia and our poll result.
All right. Ticker trivia first. Ticker trivia presented by City Light Shine, available at Lee's Discount Liquor, Total Wine, and here at the South Point Hotel and Casino. Olympic question for you guys today. And it was a pretty special one because back in 1980, this happened. So which player scored the game-winning goal for Team USA in the famous Miracle on Ice game at the 1980 Winter Olympics in Lake Placid, New York?
Oh, that's an easy one.
And we did get answers almost immediately in today's show because it was Team USA captain Mike Eruzione, a native of Massachusetts, who scored the game-winning goal in the Miracle on Ice game.
You didn't say it right, Ryan. Mike Eruzione!
Against the
play
Soviet
for, Mike?
Union.
United States of America!
Against the Soviet Union on February 22nd, 1980. That is also my Nana's birthday, so happy early birthday to my Nana there. But Eruzione's third period goal secured Team USA's 4-3 victory in that game. The team would go on to win, of course, the Olympic gold in Lake Placid in 1980. Nick got it right out of the gate. JR did also mention it as well. But moving to our poll, talking about our viewers' thoughts on today's games, or games that we'll be looking at tomorrow, because it is talking about Olympic hockey. Upset alert. Which team is most likely to pull off an upset in the men's hockey quarterfinals? The teams that won today. There is one game still to have puck drop in the next hour. But Germany, Switzerland, or Czechia in order to get their second win in this kind of elimination round. So the chat likes Switzerland to get the upset over Finland tomorrow. 38% of the vote there going with Switzerland.
I'm with them.
Poll.
Yeah. They have
looked
pretty good. It looked good in the round robin in the poll. So, how come, Ryan, you didn't give your thoughts yesterday? You were talking about Sacramento State. Did you have anything to add, or you thought Matt really
No, Matt
summed it up well?
Yeah.
I feel like I left a lot out.
A whole lot. Yeah, there's plenty more to mention that conversation. I do think it's a completely idiotic move by Sacramento State. Really, I mean, I get moving up and wanting to kind of compete on the D1 level, but I think it's absolutely idiotic to move across the country, play teams across the country instead of just, maybe joining the Mountain West.
I mean, they're doing all this to receive no TV money for the 5-year deal and to go play at Akron on a Wednesday night in November. I mean, there's nothing fun about this deal. I get the reasoning, but it's so short-sighted, and it is about the journey, not the destination.
Well, and they could get offers pretty regularly, right, to be able to move up, or do you have to take it?
It's a 5-year deal, so they're stuck for 5 years. It greatly benefits them to stay in this deal for 5 years, and that's saying something with how bad this deal is for them. Now, I think a lot of folks are positioning this as, hey, in 5 years, this program's going to be at a different place, and they're going to try to make an eventual move to the Pac-12 or whatever it's called or is at that point. So I think that's what they're doing. I can see this as like a bridge kind of couple-year gap. They're going to take a bath on this. They're going to be in the red for the next 5 years at least. But I don't know. Hopefully that TV money works out. $1 billion for Sac State. How about it?
Oh, my God. Well, we'll see. It'll be very interesting. And we'll have Sac State playing when we're handicapping our Maction, like you said.
Sac Maction. Let's go.
Tuesday.
Maybe they're also really hoping for the merchandise sales for the rivalry that they created.
Yep. There's a couple in there.
Yeah. All right. Is that it? Whiteboards?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready. I got my 3. We're going Xavier. Again, I think that they get that losing streak against Villanova out of the way. They're 11-4 at home this year. Give me them in a tight matchup, catching 4. I love these home short dogs at this point of the year. Give me the Louisville Cardinals. They attempt 3-pointers at the 4th highest rate in the country, but they are the 8th most efficient 2-point shooting team in all of college basketball. They already ran SMU out of the gym. The KFC Yum Center in Louisville earlier in the year by 14 and a 26-point swing in that game. Saw them all over it. And then give me the Skyhawks of Tennessee Martin laying 2.5 at home against SEMO. Tennessee Martin is the best team in that conference. So Xavier, Louisville, Tennessee Martin. I was 2-0 last week on my plays. Here's for another sweep.
Yes, you were. All right, Ryan, you want to follow that up?
Well, Matt's going with love for the home dogs. I am going against the home dogs here with 4 plays on the whiteboard. Michigan laying the 2.5 at Purdue. Carolina, that's the underdog on my board here, but Carolina plus the 7 at NC State. I just think that's too much. Louisville laying the 3.5 at SMU. And then Baylor has moved off of the 3.5, now a 4 here at the South Point, but still being able to get it done at Kansas State.
Very good. All right, both of you guys on the Cardinals. I'm going to have to join you there. And I do like North Carolina. Do we think it's worth a little sprinkle on the money line? to beat the NC State Wolfpack?
Well, State hasn't beaten them in the regular season since 2022-23.
Oh, my God.
So you're saying yes. It is worth it.
I think the books are begging you to take UNC, and that's what a couple of comments had said as well on our chat.
Yeah.
Well, we'll check the injury report before jumping in with the money line.
Yes.
You got time.
If Henry Vesar plays, I would like it a lot.
I think that's fair.
So my dog is Fresno State. I'm taking the 9.5 with them at Wyoming. Kind of feels like a cop out here, but I'm going with the two favorites from the mid majors, the darlings here, Miami, Ohio -3 and St. Louis -10, but those are numbered based as well. I think they should be bigger favorites. I think people are actually kind of betting against them with all the pressure building and taking the points there. But then last but not least, the first game rotation number, Boston College, Florida State. I'm going under that 148.
I love it.
And that is it for us three today.
Hey, when I come back next week, can we talk some MLB divisions?
Yes.
Would love that. Maybe some college baseball as well. We're starting to see some more action around the country on the college diamond.
Yes, we're gonna try to get Kenny White because he's got a player power ratings for every college baseball
He's the
player
best.
as well. So we'll get him in there and get his thoughts on college baseball. And then next week, yes, because now here at the South Point, division odds are out for MLB as well as some of the awards already, right?
Yeah, I'm ready. I've got opinions, as you could well guess. I'm ready to go. I cannot wait to lay my Pirates 8-1 to win the NL Central. That's gonna be the best. Can't wait.
You also have available the home run leader and strikeout leader in Major League Baseball for the 26th season.
Eugenio Suarez.
Can you guys give us a little tease? Who do we have at the top there, and what are their odds?
Eugenio Suarez at 40-1 is going to be my long shot, and I will have a ticket on that before the weekends because that is insane value. Where is that sheet? There we go. It's stuck on the end. Aaron Judge 7-2, Shohei Ohtani 4-1, Kyle Schwarber 8-1. Your three guys at under 10-1 odds to win the home run title. And for your strikeout leader, same deal. You got Tarek Skubal at 4-1, Garrett Crochet at 5-1, and Paul Skeens at 9-2, 4.5-1 more or less. Those are your three leaders, I would say, in both of those. I got some names down the list that I'd like to take a look at for sure.
Okay. You didn't say Cal Raleigh, so nobody thinks that he can do it.
He's
2 years in a
12-1.
row, huh? 12-1. That's
Tough to do it 2 years in a row, especially as a catcher.
He's going to get that many strikeouts?
That's what it's going to be. That's the other thing, and I even told Ryan on the way out. I told Ryan, I said, I've got some stronger odds stronger thoughts on who I think will not win or be anywhere close on these. So maybe we go with the glass half empty look at it next week.
okay. That's good. I think that's good for people. Just start eliminating and crossing out some guys and then see what we got.
I mean, that's for people with a dumb fish brain like me, you got to narrow it down. You got to narrow down your options.
I think that's pretty brilliant, actually. I should start trying to do that.
I'll help you guys out.
Okay, good. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for watching. Looking forward to talking about those next week with Matt. He will be back on Tuesday. No, maybe Wednesday.
Wednesday, I'll be in Phoenix, Arizona on Tuesday.
All right, so Wednesday with Matt Neverett here on Sports by the Book. Ryan and I are back tomorrow. We may try and have Kenny Waite join us tomorrow to talk college baseball. But then the rest of the week, Dwayne Colucci again on Thursday, and we'll see who we get for Friday. But we appreciate everybody. Thank you to the crew and Jerry, Sean, Vince, and Andrew. Andrew, thank you for cutting up the show. He didn't find any reason to play that little clip for us, so I guess we did good. We made no stupid bets yet
Can we play the clip anyway?
Okay, we got to stall for 30
He's
seconds.
fixing it. Family Guy.
Yes.
Which I just watched the Family Guy episode where Peter plays for the London Silly Nannies with Tom Brady.
I don't think I saw that one.
So you got that's your homework for the night.
There it is.
Go home and watch Peter Griffin playing football.
In between the 4 screens of all the college basketball, but
Of course. Is that 30 seconds?
7.5.
Yeah, I'd like to bet $100.
You want to pick a team?
No, just take it.
You don't have to worry about that with us. Oh my God.
I love it. It's
Just
the
take it.
best. Just take it.
Oh man.
So yeah, we did good today. Good job, guys. Ryan
They had
and
that
Matt.
ready. They were ready to go with that too.
Well, we were talking futures and taking some crazy long shots, and sometimes it can be like that.
So we didn't sound too dumb today. I like that.
Yes. Ryan, anything else before we get out of here?
It does look like 7.5s are popping up there for Carolina and NC State. But did want to make a mention that tomorrow we have Race Day Las Vegas returning as the horse racing week gets going. So Race Day Las Vegas begins at 7 a.m. over on the South Point Studio YouTube channel. Obviously, you can watch it back if you don't want to wake up that early here on the West Coast. But yeah, 7 to 8 a.m. over on the South Point Studio page is Race Day Las Vegas with Rouse Rocco.
Hey, it's that time. Sunday, I found myself watching the end of Pebble Beach and switching back and forth between that and NASCAR, and did not imagine my Sundays looking like that, right? But now maybe we'll jump in with some horse racing as well, and then gone racing back on Thursday. So another golf tournament coming up this weekend. We'll have to dive into that later in the week.
Genesis.
Hockey about to start. Everybody enjoy. We'll be back tomorrow, and we'll break down Team USA's game here on Sports by the Book. Thanks, everybody. Matt Neverett, Ryan McCormick, Alex White. We'll see you again soon on Sports by the Book.